I was driving and somebody like started backing up just in the middle of the road, and I yelled, "Are you a fucking moron?" And then I was like, "Oh my god, that felt so good." My entire body and brain and essence was fully in that moment of calling that person a fucking moron. It feels good. That's why we do it. Hi, what's your name?
My name's Colette.
Colette, you texted me
Yeah.
and you said, I'm a 31-year-old woman who just got banned on Roblox.
Sure did. Sure did.
So tell me about that. How did you get banned on Roblox?
I guess I've just been playing a lot because I have a little brother. He's like, 14. We've been playing for years or whatever. But also, it keeps you out of trouble, Roblox does. But yeah, I just moved to Atlanta and from Texas, and I've just been kind of in my head a lot. And so I've been like just playing by myself. But I got this new game on there. It was this like, it was supposed to be so chill. It was like a treehouse tycoon, and basically, all you got to do is say like get all these honeybees, you collect them, you build your treehouse, but then also everybody comes in and like murders you and stuff, and I'm like I don't understand why there's murder in this game. There's like chill jazz music, there's bird sounds. I really don't understand what this game is and why everyone was treating it like a GTA server. But there was these children, and they rolled up that I couldn't collect my honey. They parked their little car. They kept on murdering me over and over again. And it just really sent me because, like, I was really excited to play this little game. And I just called them bratty virgins. And then, I tried to report them because they were being very mean to me on the chat. I did not appreciate it. And they don't know what I'm going through. They don't know who they're talking to. But, yeah, I did tell them that I'm sorry their parents are divorced. And I do regret that because their parents are probably most definitely divorced.
What? Okay. Why do you assume that their parents are divorced?
I mean, just because of, the ratios. You can look at any, census.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. There's a 50% chance that that they're right. How old do you think these kids? These were like squeakers. These were like 13-year-olds.
They're probably like the same age as my little brother. It's probably like 14 or something.
I mean, they probably should. They probably should be virgins.
I mean, no, they should. I shouldn't. I regret that. I guess it's just like what's your? I guess. I mean, I'm not really upset that they're virgins. That's not really it was. It was just that like obviously you haven't been through anything. You're just a stupid virgin, which is really mean to a lot of adult virgins. I get it. I understand. I was in the wrong. I'm also recognizing that I'm going crazy right now.
They're life virgins. They're life virgins.
They're life virgins.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, getting into heated arguments with 14-year-olds on Roblox is probably not
crazy.
You would feel irresponsible for me to. Yeah. It's a little crazy. It's undeniably a little crazy. But let's talk about it.
I told my little brother what happened, and all he texted me was "wow," and I was like, "Okay." See, now I know that I'm like losing it a little bit.
Okay. Why do you think you're losing it?
Well, okay. I just moved here. I was in Austin, Texas, doing like a weird family thing for a while. I've moved all around the country, but I was only in Texas for a couple years because like my grandma and my mom wanted to like hang out with me a little bit. I haven't really lived around them for like over a decade, and that was really, really stressful. I have like very conservative grandparents. I mean, just like everybody else. It's a little bit different though when like you're mixed and like your white family is like really, really racist in like every possible way. Pretty much like, the only person I kind of like that I'm related to is my mom. But anyway, that's a really, really long story. I'm really okay like not talking about that. But yeah, it was a lot. My grandma like started hospice while I was there, and they were just like incredibly hard to please people. You kind of have to perform at all times. And then also they kicked me out because I asked them to stop talking about Trump with me, and then so I had to like live with like this really crazy girl, and she was a lot. And then I was also dating like a comedian who was like a severe alcoholic. It was just like a lot of, stuff that didn't have to do with me, which I'm usually pretty good at. But I'm realizing that this is like the first time. I've been wanting to get to Atlanta for a really long time because I feel like all my hopes and dreams and like a lot of like family that I would like to get to know lives here. And
cool.
I just want to make movies, and I want to make TV, and like I've been working in production a long time, and like I just want to I've just been wanting to come here and feel comfortable in my own skin and just to have a lovely time. But now that I'm here, it's like I'm like actually having to like be the person that I was imagining being. And then I'm also realizing, that's the anxiety, is like that part is like, oh, I'm like, oh, this is like you think about something for too long, and then like you're like, oh, it's still me. I'm not like a different person.
Yeah.
And so it's like still have to do all of those things to like be a different person.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like cursing kids out on Roblox. I mean, that's crazy. I'm like, I could be outside right now. It's like gorgeous out. I could be like meeting people, but I'm like so good at meeting people that are like terrible for me. So like I'm really terrified about like making new connections. That's also, I think, really what it is that I don't trust myself to like actually surround myself with people that are like good for me. I think that's really what it is too. Also, I just like don't know where to start at this point.
You said so many things just now that piqued my interest. Okay, what? Okay, I'm trying to hold on to all of them. Okay, wait. One you said was, first of all, okay, I'm sorry if I'm trying to get your timeline correct. Because you said something, because you threw a bunch of stuff out about like, okay, your family kicked, bad relationship with the family and the alcoholic comedian and all this. This is all before you moved to Atlanta?
Yeah, this was all before I moved to Atlanta. This was like the first place I've ever lived with like, that's just for me.
And then where?
I've always done things for family and other people, and like this is the first time I've ever done something that's like just me.
And then, when did you move to Atlanta?
Like a month ago.
And you're living with your little brother?
No, I'm not living with my little brother. My little brother lives pretty close. He lives in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
But
do you live with?
Yeah, he has like.
Are you living with family, or are you living like by yourself?
No, I live completely by myself, and I don't have like close family. Like the family I have here. Oh shit, my cat. Hi, are you ready to come in? Jesus, you've been gone for so long. But yeah, it's just me, my cat, and my snake that I'm hiding from the leasing office. But yeah, the family I have here, they're like, I haven't seen them since I was like, 10 or something, And
you said that you mainly came down there to, well, you said you came down there for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons you said you came down there was because you wanted to get closer to them, right?
Yeah, I've got like a lot of my dad's side of the family in Savannah. So yeah, I've already like went and saw my grandma, who's like great. She like has always like smoked like 2 packs of Marbs a day, and like she like drives trucks, and like she's really mean, but she like puts all of her heart and soul into like the food she makes. Like she's like so classic. She's like a really nice lady.
Cool. How old is she? I'm curious.
Oh my God, she had my dad. Like my whole family's just babies. My dad was like she had my dad when she was 14.
Whoa.
She got real unlucky. Yeah, real unlucky. It was the guy she like lost her virginity to, and he's like a real schmuck. Like he's like a bad guy. But yeah, he's crazy. And then yeah, my dad and my mom had me. My mom, her mom had her when she was 19, and then they pretty much did the same thing. They were like 20 when they had me.
Okay, so I was imagining, when you said your grandma, I was imagining like kind of an old lady, but she's younger.
Well, I have like the one that's on hospice in Texas. That's my mom's mom, and yeah, she's young, but she's just like, I mean, like her last name is like Dingler. She like comes from like real poor. Like her dad was like a huge drunk who like spent all of their milk money like on alcohol and gambling. So like all of her teeth fell out by the time she was like 30. Just crazy.
All right, so I mean, back to you. The thing. Yeah, back to you. You know, because I'm sure that we could get it. I'm sure that we could write a whole textbook about your family lore.
No, the lore goes crazy.
I'm sure the lore sounds like it goes very crazy. The thing that you said that I was like, oh, fucking amen to that, is the thing about you imagine is
dreams realized.
Well, yeah, okay. So I also feel like and this is actually, I think, part of like, not to bring it to me, but like a little part of like an existential crisis is like what you sort of, when you get a little bit older, you begin to fully understand the fact that there is no such thing as your future self. Which is a little spooky.
No such thing.
There's no such thing as your future self, and that's like a little scary, you know, because I think we put a lot of hopes and dreams and reliefs and plans and whatnot in this bucket of someday and in the future self, but it just never comes. There's no such thing as the future self. So yeah, it's still you.
And I think that like the last 2 years have just been so stressful that I like have really just been like easing myself, like self-soothing with like a future self in mind. Like that's been like a self-soothing like technique that I'm realizing. Mm-hmm. And like actually, it's making itself really apparent.
Wait a minute, can I actually completely undermine everything I just said?
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, there's kind of no such thing as a future self, but there also kind of is such a thing as a future self. You know, because as human beings, we can anticipate the future.
Well, you can manifest things, and you can eventually, like, you can do things. You can visualize things and make them into fruition. Not even just with like, you know, you can emulate something until it becomes you.
Yeah, I actually kind of I half disagree with what I said. I think that obviously there is no future self. It's always just going to be you, and you have to understand that. But there is something about, you can plan for the future to the best that you can. You know, I mean, you could do that financially, and you can do that health wise, and you can do that. But a lot of the times, I mean, the future self is just kind of like a vehicle for procrastination. But anyway, okay, hold on. I want to get past your family lore.
I know we're
getting
there. We're getting there.
Philosophical bullshit.
I know.
Why are
you?
No, it's okay. I'm steering us in those directions, and I take responsibility for that. Why are you sitting at home alone in your house yelling at teenagers on Roblox?
I guess I'm just like realizing I don't really like trust myself the way that I should. I don't know.
Well, I mean, let's talk about this, right? Is you said all these, like, okay, you want to make movies and let me ask you this. You said that moving to Atlanta was something that you did for yourself. It's like one of the only things you did for yourself. Why did you do it?
I just think that sorry, my cat is driving me nuts. She's like yelling in like the middle of our apartment building. I think that what it is that I've always wanted to make movies, and it was something that like, I felt like really guilty about for a long time for like familial reasons. Or that it wasn't like possible. Like nobody in my family's ever really believed in me about that, but until like my dad, like one random time was like, he saw what I worked on a Gatorade commercial, and he's like, I saw your car in this Gatorade commercial. And I was like, yeah, like, I mean, I can do it. Like, there's like no reason like I can't. And I guess I've just never like invested in like myself in things that I wanted to do. I guess I've always like chose like the safe option. I like decided to do like clinical massage therapy because I was like, okay, well I can just do that while I'm like figuring it out. And I've always just done like all these. I'm like a side quest person, and I've like had a really hard time like with the big "what are you gonna be when you grow up" question.
Right.
But I've always done like a bunch of side quests, and I still kind of. I mean, I still do want to do that, but I guess that this place just feels like there's a lot of opportunities for me to do things what I want to do. Like, and when it comes to like film, like I just love being on a set in any capacity. It really doesn't matter.
You
like,
said you said you work. Do you currently work in production, or you have worked in production?
I was doing a lot of it in Florida, and I was doing a lot of like live concert stuff for a long time, which was really cool. And then I was working my way into like commercials, but Austin, Texas was really, really weird for that. Like the community there is like really cutthroat and really cliquey and intense. So I didn't get to do that as much.
So did you pick Atlanta because it has? Sorry to keep interrupting you, but I'm just trying to get down to like why?
Yeah, you're trying to like figure it out.
Did you pick Atlanta because of like all the? I mean, I remember,
there's a lot of film here, especially.
Yeah. So when you say,
and a lot of like TV stuff.
When you say you want to like make film, do you mean you
like,
want?
If I could be like a Foley artist for like the rest of my life, I'd be very happy with that. If I could get in a writer's room, I'd be really, really happy with that.
Okay.
Like there's like so many different avenues of it that I'm like really could be very happy doing, and that's why I'm like so broad with it. It's like, it's not even like a oh, I don't know if I could believe in myself that I could like direct. I think I could. Like I really do think that I like, but I there's so many different facets of like filming something that I genuinely enjoy, is what I mean.
So okay, that's good to know. So you've been in Atlanta for a month, and have you gone to any like fucking? Have you gone to any like? No. You gotta see. That's the thing is there's a lot of, and by the way, I'm the king of I am the king of short-term dopamine traps. Okay, I am a complete hypocrite. I am the king of short-term dopamine loops. So I say this with you know. The
compassion and love in your heart.
Yes. I'm sure that yelling at a little kid on Roblox probably feels amazing. It's probably a great rush of adrenaline to like have something that like to care about, like to like be giving like. You know, because we're all just looking for reasons to get out of our fucking head and into something, and sometimes that desire is what leads us to spend any amount of time or effort or fucks to give about getting a little kid banned from Roblox. That's why you're doing that. Is because you're in. I was driving down the road yesterday. And somebody like started slowing. The car in front of me was slowing down, and then they started like backing up or something, like just in the middle of the road. And I yelled, "Are you a fucking moron?" And then I went. I turned around, and then I passed the car, and then I was like, "Oh my god, that felt so good." My entire body and brain and essence was fully in that moment of calling that person a fucking moron. It feels good. That's why we do it.
Well, yeah, I don't think I'll ever get. I think that road rage contained to your car will always be a healthy outlet, and you can't change my mind on that.
You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it is. I felt good. I felt it was cathartic. I wouldn't again. And you know what? And you're right. You're right. As long as I think it would be. I wouldn't want to like. I would never go to the person to their face, like, you know, as you're right, as long as it's contained in your own car, sure. Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway,
the old overage is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, all this really comes down to is like, I mean, dude, here, if I could give some suggestions here, I don't always feel inclined to give suggestions or feel like I know what I'm talking about here, but because it's like,
you used to live here, and I remember an episode where you were talking about this shit.
Yeah. I used to live in Atlanta a couple times, and just this particular, and doing film production shit, and so this particular avenue, I feel. Why don't you go on like Meetup or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and just like go to fucking like networking events, or even. Right? Why don't you go on like IMDb or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever the fuck and email 10 different Foley artists and be like, hey, can I ask you for advice on getting into the industry? Not like, hey, can I, have a job, but like, hey, can I? So you just gotta, network. And by the way, people think that networking is like the word networking is gross to a lot of people, but it's
the only way you get anywhere.
But it's not even, I don't even think it's gross. It's like, it's connecting, I mean, that's what you should,
it's people to people.
It's people to people. That's what you should be doing, is you should be out in your industry connecting with other people and not, at home alone yelling at teenagers. It's good. It's not a gross thing to want to network.
Yeah, it is. Okay, thank you. That's actually really good advice. I'm gonna definitely do that.
So I mean, that's what I would do, is find, if you have it's so great that you have a specific, because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to make something, but I don't know what it is and whatever the fuck. But to have like a specific vision and be like, I want to be a Foley artist. I mean, goddamn, go talk to the people who are literally doing what you want to do, and they're accessible to you.
I was about to get like an audio engineering degree, and I don't know if I should do that. I think you think that's like is audio engineering kind of like a useless degree?
You know what? Instead of asking me, because I have no idea, go
ask that guy.
Go find. Yeah, seriously. Seriously. Write
Yeah.
a billion fucking questions down, and then go to like one of these networking events that I'm sure happen all over Atlanta, and
You're right.
Ask these people. Ask that question to these people. We live in. There's a lot of like doomerism around the connectedness of our society nowadays, and I could get at philosophical bullshit, whatever, but like, I don't know, this, like, the tools exist for you to find people who are doing exactly what you want to do and reach out to them, and by all, I see no reason why, if you reached out to 10 of them, at least one of them wouldn't love to, talk to you. Because I think people want to do that. People want to send the elevator back down when they, get further in their careers. It makes them feel good. So, do that again instead of going insane alone in your house and yelling at teenagers.
I will. Yeah, I think I'm finally at the point in my life where I'm like more comfortable being alone, but yeah, I think that the only spiraling thing that I'm feeling is like what I'm supposed to be doing. But being alone is like sick, which it did not used to be the case.
Okay, good. For a lot of people, being alone is hell.
Yeah.
So
as long as I don't spend too long on Roblox, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been honestly really terrifying too, because I feel like every time I have stepped out in Atlanta, it's only like romance trying to find me, and that's really frustrating.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean it's only romance trying to find you?
It's I'm consistently having people trying to date me in a capacity, and I can't find any friends.
Why do I feel I'm hold on, I'm invested in this. Give me 1 second. I genuinely, because I feel like there's got to be like a fucking like women filmmakers meetup thing in Atlanta that you can go to and make some friends. I really there's no way that doesn't exist.
It has to, right?
It has to.
It can't just be me.
Look here. What is this? Look, what is this? Film Hub Atlanta. I literally just Googled this. There's the Film Fatales, an international collective of Yeah, there's all kinds of this shit. There's all kinds of this shit. Look, upcoming
Film Hub
events.
Atlanta.
Hold on, bro. Look at this. I mean, this is a past event, but this is a Women in Film in Atlanta event, Saturday, April 26th. It's past, but I just said these things exist. You know,
they do. You're right.
You can join. Look, this is a whole thing. You can join. Look at this. WIFTA.org. Volunteer. Look at this. You should be on this website. Literally go right now. Go to WIFTA.org/get-involved. And it says volunteer.
Get what?
Get involved.
Oh, get involved. Okay.
Fucking send them an email. I'm getting specific about it, but it's like, I just do anything to jog your brain into realizing that there's other options for you besides yelling at teenagers on the internet.
Thank you. Thanks, Lyle. Hey, did you ever watch Perfect Days?
No, I haven't. I thank you, by the way, because I feel like I'll have multiple streams in a row where I'm like, I think I'm pretty useless. But I felt good about this call, so thanks for letting me yell at you. Colette.
Thanks for yelling at me, Lyle. It's been a pleasure. This is my first time ever really calling. I was very tickled that you chose me. So, thanks.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
Sometimes I claim to know a guy, but I can't tell you what his hands look like. All right, Lyle.
All right, Colette. You have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know. What did that... Sometimes I claim to know a guy, but I don't know what his hands look like. Is that a sex joke? What is that? Anyway, man, Vyvanse is awesome. I feel like a real person. That's what it is. I've had a lot of street... I mean, maybe that's not what it is, but my energy as a human being, I think, to do this podcast is finite. And there's a lot of times where it's like 9 p.m. and I got to record and I'll chug a fucking Mountain Dew, and then someone's talking to me and I'm zoning out and I'm like, oh, of course that's happening. Why would that not be happening right now? I'm always trying to solve for X for like how to feel good and present. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling, but yeah, good luck, Colette. Try to do stuff. Hello. Hello. What's up, man?
Hi. What's happening?
Not much. Where are you calling? Are you a Brit?
No, I'm an Aussie.
Ah, there we go. What part of Australia are you in? Sydney. Kick ass, man. I had a great time in Sydney when I went there. Do you like it, or are you like, it's just where I live?
Oh, it's just where you live, you know. Like, I know people travel here from all over the world and people get excited to see it, but for me, it's just like, it's nice though. It is a beautiful city. We've got some, good local beaches, and there's a lot of like restaurants and, nice places to eat out. But, you always feel like wherever you live, you always feel like you just live in a bubble. Because you go to your job and you do your thing, and it's kind of like you get caught up in the routine sometimes.
Yeah. Are you in a bubble? That's a stupid question, but it remains.
It feels like that 5 days of the week, and then the other 2 days of the week, sometimes you try break free of that bubble, do something, out of the ordinary, but sometimes you just end up getting stuck in the bubble still, and then you just live this life in a bubble because it feels like, I don't know, sometimes it's just finances that feel like it's holding you back from breaking free of that bubble.
You said that on the weekends you try to break out of the bubble. What do you do on the weekends to try to break out of the bubble?
Well, I don't so much. I haven't been doing it as much lately, but I did like, I do like going out to the beach or going on a hike or just, getting outdoors and getting out in nature. But I've, had a bit of a work-related incident this year, and it's impacted my ability to do a lot of things. So I guess I've just kind of been stuck in the bubble.
Is that something you want to talk about?
Yeah, I guess I could talk about it. So earlier on this year, so for work, I work in construction. I operate a piece of mobile plant. The plant I'm referring to, it's a vacuum truck, and I dig holes with it. So it's a big truck, and it's got a huge tank on the back, and you have a hose that comes off of the truck, and it's a vacuum hose, and you run out a high pressure water hose as well, and you dig holes using the high pressure water and the vacuum from the truck to expose underground services, such as electrical, gas, and water. And I was digging holes earlier this year, and I dug this hole, and I kind of, after I was finished digging the holes were supposed to be covered by, one of these workers on the job site, and he's, covered the hole poorly, and I've misstepped, and I've fallen in the hole. I fell in the hole. It was only about 1 meter deep, but, I landed directly on top of the water main that was in the ground, and it sent a shock up my spine, and I've slipped a disc, and it's caused some, problems and some sciatica, so it's affected my right leg completely. It's impacted my ability to exercise, which has been, quite difficult for me because exercise has always been a bit of an outlet for me. So, yeah, and that's it, man. It's been a bit of a head fuck, if I'm being honest.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. When did this all happen?
Back at start of February.
Did you get any kind of like a workman's comp?
Yeah, so it was complicated because when it first happened, the company that I work for thought it was just going to be maybe a 1 or 2 day thing, so they didn't want to file any claims or do anything through the workers' compensation. And a couple of days, even on the day of the incident, it didn't feel like a big deal at the time. And then the next morning I woke up and I struggled to get out of bed. So I went and I called my boss and I told him, I said, I got to, go. But I went to the doctors on the day, and my boss come and picked me up from the job site because the company I work for, we contract to, these job sites. We hire out our equipment to other job sites. So they will call up and say, we need a vacuum truck for 8 hours today. And they send out me, the operator. I drive the truck to the job site and I work for the client for 8 hours. So my boss has come after the incident, after he was made aware of it, picked me up from the job site, taken me to his doctor, walked me into the doctor's office and tried to get me sign off as, all clear and, there were no problems. And, it was a bit, I didn't really speak up at the time. I just let him say whatever he needed to say, and the doctor refused to sign me off because they're just like, we don't know what we don't really know until we get some scans done. I can't just sign him off and say he's all clear. He could have a slipped disc, or he might wake up tomorrow and not be able to move, and that's exactly what happened. next day I woke up, struggled to get out of bed, straight away went to my doctor without my boss there being present, told them the whole situation. They asked if I wanted to do it through workers' compensation, and I said no, that's fine, because I knew that my boss didn't feel comfortable going through workers' compensation. And they said they gave me a referral to go get an MRI, which I booked in to, and I got that within a few days. And the MRI results showed that I'd slipped a disc in my back, and my doctor had said that I need to go see a neurosurgeon immediately. So then I've called my boss. I've told them that was the situation, and then they've gone ahead, booked me in to see a different doctor, who then wanted to backtrack, fill out a workers' compensation claim, backtrack it to the actual day of the incident, because they knew that if after I got the results from the MRI and my doctor said I needed to see a neurosurgeon, they knew it was going to be a lot of money out of their pocket, and this could potentially go on for a long time, and it would end up costing them a lot more money. So they have then gone and, set me up with their doctor. I've been doing everything that their doctor has been saying. It's gone through workers' compensation. I've been going to physio twice a week, multiple doctor's appointments. The first 3-4 weeks I was on 4 different pain management medications, and it felt like none of it was helping. Over time, with the physio, and then slowly weaning off of those medications, and then slowly getting back into work, I have started to feel better.
Great.
But they still haven't signed me off yet, because I'm now, it's still affecting my right leg. So, a couple of weeks ago I went and I got another MRI, and it's still showing that there's a problem there. And the doctor that they had set me up with is now saying I need to see a neurosurgeon, which is what my doctor had said initially. So it kind of feels like, that all that time that I've spent with their doctor doing whatever he was saying, and ultimately now he's saying I've got to go see a neurosurgeon. And I feel like this is something that I kind of wanted to do months ago, back when the incident first happened, but they thought that maybe I was, because it was my doctor, I was somehow, they were, I don't know, I feel like maybe they thought I was all caught up with my doctor, and they were telling me to do something, I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
They thought it was fishy that you were bringing in your doctor instead of their doctor.
Yeah.
Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Well, yeah, I guess, because they don't want. I mean, they want to be in control of the situation, I would assume.
Yes.
So are you having issues with with being able to see your doctor in conflict with their doctor?
I can see my doctor at any time, and that's a part of the workers' compensation. I can change doctors, I can change physio. I'm in control of the whole situation, essentially. But every time I've brought it up to them, if they're not happy about something, because they have not made this easy for me at all. There's been times, when I'm at work and they're coming up to me, they essentially think that I'm milking the whole thing, or that I'm bullshitting my way through it just so I can stay on workers' compensation. Without saying it directly, they've come up to me and said, are you being honest with us about the whole thing? And it's like, I'm getting the scans, I'm seeing your doctors, I'm doing everything that you guys want me to do, and still you're not happy with it because they haven't signed me off.
You said you were back to work, though, right?
Yeah, but it's reduced hours.
Okay. And
So
so
rather
they're
than
so what are they trying to do? Are they trying to be like, hey, we're no longer gonna because obviously you're still working with their doctor. Are they trying to say like you can't work with our doctor on our dime anymore?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, my boss had come up to me while I was at work, and he approached the situation a lot differently to how they had previously, because it felt very threatening. They have approached me a few times, and it felt very threatening in the way that they approached me. But this time around, he was just like, I feel like you're telling us you're getting better, which I am. Slowly, it is taking time, and I am getting better. I have made a lot of progress since the date of the incident. And they're like, but we feel like you're telling us one thing, and then you're going into the doctor's office and you're telling them something different. And I said, how can that be? Like, I'm not, because they've also hired some third party, some guy that works for a third-party rehabilitation program, who also works with me to get my, goals on track and things such as that. But he attends all of my doctor's appointments with me and writes down statements of things that are being said, and he shares those things directly with my employer.
That's fucking weird, man. That's fucking weird that they're like hounding you about it.
It is weird. It's weird, and it's.
I mean,
but
well, it's also like, look, I mean, what is it? It's your right leg mainly, right?
Yes.
Is your right? How is your right leg doing? Is it still like? I mean, I assume, this was back in February? I mean, it probably takes a while to, like, fully rehabilitate, I mean, they're trying to, like, rush your leg.
Yeah, they are. It is going to take a while, because it is stemming from the slit disc, and from what I know, those things take a long time to recover from, but it's made my right leg essentially, like, it's a little bit floppy. I have control over my leg. I can use it. I'm not really limping when I walk or anything, but it's I have a bit of loss of control over my right foot, and I can't do things like I can't run. When I'm driving, it's kind of affecting my ability to push on the accelerator and brake. Not completely, I can still drive, but my job does require me to drive a truck. So, it's kind of affecting my ability to work. And, they're still trying to rush it along, and I just, I don't know what to do at this point.
But if they're trying to rush it along, but, like, don't you have by the way, I am in the grounds of things that I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. But can't we assume that there's some kind of law, or like, I don't know, like, what are your rights in this situation? You know what I mean? Like, do you have anyone who's like telling you that shit?
Anyone that I've told thinks that it's fucked up. And I agree, it is. But the company that I work for, it can be kind of a toxic workplace. And, anyone.
But like, I guess what I'm saying is like they're trying to like if your boss is trying to like strong arm you into not paying for not being on workers' comp, is that like, is that illegal?
I don't think it's legal.
So then, well, I mean, so look, if it's not legal, then can't you kind of be like, yeah, well, you can say whatever you want. You can try to rush me as much as you want, but it doesn't fucking matter, because you know, you have to pay for this, you know. So like, I mean, if they do rush you along and they do try to fuck you, I assume you can just sue them. But I don't know. I can't assume anything because I don't know anything about any of this shit, either in America or Australia.
Yeah, suing them is something that I was really looking.
You need a lawyer, man. You need a lawyer. You need a lawyer. You need a lawyer, not a gecko. You need a fucking lawyer, man.
I do need a lawyer, but it wasn't really something that I'm looking to, take up further because it's already a bit of a headache as is, and I don't want to.
I'm sure. I know. Myself. I'm sure, and I empathize with that. I get that. It's like you don't want to, you just don't want to fucking deal with it. But
no, because at the end of the day, it still is.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it still is my job and, my form of income. And following this, I'm not really... It's uncertain what's going to happen. I don't know if by the end of it, when they sign me off, they're going to be like, oh, fuck, like, that's it, you're done, pack up your shit and go, or is it still going to be my job? And at the end of the day, they are...
Hold on. I'm gonna interrupt. What's your name again?
Josh. Marcus.
Marcus, whatever your name is. Marcus, okay, tell me, have you consulted with a lawyer? Have you even spoken with a lawyer? Have you even called one on the phone?
No.
Marcus, Marcus, hang up the phone right now. Marcus, hang up the Marcus, I swear, what time is it in Australia right now?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Okay, Mark, what are you doing up so late or early? You have to work?
I actually don't have work till 10 a.m., but I wanted to get the fuck out of the house because I didn't want to see any of my family.
How old are you, Marcus?
26.
26? What? And you... Marcus, man, listen, first of all, look, I appreciate you, being down to talk about all this shit. I'm screaming at you that you need to call a lawyer. I get the fear, right? I get the fear of like, oh, you like retaliation from your boss or whatever. But like, this is like this shit happens to people, and there are like people who professionally help people who this shit happens to. Because you don't have anyone on your side right now. You just have your fucking it's just you and your buddies. And your versus like your boss who's clearly not on your side, and you got to go fucking talk to somebody who's on your side. You got to call a lawyer, man. Like the fact that you even have, like, if you had told me you were like, yeah, I consulted with a lawyer and they told me that this, that, and the other reason why I shouldn't fight back, and I'd have to retain the, but you haven't even had a conversation. Go have a conversation with a lawyer, bro. Just call one. Just call a lawyer. Just please call a lawyer today, man. I get, and by the way, everything that you're talking about on this fucking show right now about like, oh, I'm afraid about this. I'm afraid it's gonna be a hassle. I'm afraid that they're gonna retaliate. I'm gonna lose my job. I'm afraid of this and that. Write down every single one of those fucking fears, okay? Then you call a lawyer and you tell them every single one of those fears, and then have somebody have them explain to you. I mean, it's literally their job to deal with people in your situation. Go fucking call like a workman's comp lawyer, man, and be vulnerable with them. Be honest with them about all these fears that you have about this situation. And like, get some help, dude.
That's good advice.
And if you don't do it, I'm gonna come down to Australia. I'm gonna fucking break your other leg.
There's a part of me that wants to do it because it's good advice, and then there's a part of me that doesn't want to do it just so you come down to Australia and break my other leg.
I'm not gonna break your other leg. I'm not gonna do that. Bro, yeah, call a lawyer. Hold on. I don't. What is it? Workman? I'm on Google right now. Workman's comp lawyer, Sydney, Australia. Okay, there's a billion of them, bro. Yeah, go. There's so many of these, bro. You gotta call one of these lawyers. There's a billion of them. Workman's comp lawyers, law part. Yeah, dude, go. I hope you do this, man. It would make me so happy if you took my advice and called a lawyer instead of just like letting your boss fuck you like this.
Mm-hmm.
What is your family? Do you talk to your family about this shit?
Yeah, I do, but I feel like they don't really understand a lot of what I go through, so I just try to keep to myself a lot of the time.
Bro, call a lawyer. Has anyone else told you talk to your friends about this?
Yeah.
And what did they say? Did they tell you to call a lawyer?
They never said call a lawyer, but they just think it's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, are you going to call a lawyer today?
Am I going to call one today?
Are you going to call a lawyer today?
Because you've told me to, yeah.
Okay, thank God. Good. Please. And tell them everything. Tell them, like, because I don't know, I can't quell your fears because I'm a gecko and I'm a gecko 10,000 miles away from you. Call a lawyer. Okay. I feel it'll make it genuinely, if you call a lawyer and then you DM me later and you're like, I called a lawyer and he told me all this stuff and it made me feel better, that would make me very happy. So I hope you do that. Marcus. Well, all right, man. I'm gonna end this so that you can go call a lawyer. Because you're probably in your head. If I've convinced you to do it, I'm gonna let you do it right now. And I'm not gonna break your leg.
You think any lawyers are up at 6 a.m.?
No. You should go back to bed. Maybe 9. Just go back to bed. Marcus, is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
I didn't think about that one. Is it fine if I don't have anything to say?
Yeah, of course it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Of course it's fine. You don't have to have anything to say. Okay, just go call a lawyer. I somebody give me a count of how many times I said that over the course of this phone call. Okay, good luck, Marcus.
Thanks, Lyle. I appreciate your time.
All right, take care, man. Man, I don't know what that is. Is that like a low? Is it like a low self-esteem thing? Like, what is what is it that is preventing this gentleman from calling a lawyer? Shit, dude, that's what I would do if I was in a situation like that. I mean, damn, because he's just all this stuff that he's talking about. You know, it's so funny that there's a entire like. This is so dumb, but it's crazy to me that there's a whole continent of people who have that accent. Like like if he calls a lawyer, the lawyer is gonna be like an Australian guy, and he's gonna have that accent. The boss who's fucking him over has an accent. The person who gave him all the doctors, they have that accent. That's kind of crazy to me.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? What's your name?
My name is May.
May, what's up, May? How's life?
Crazy. Just finished my finals, so existential crisis.
Why is finishing your finals giving you an existential crisis?
Well, honestly, I'm just scared of the adult world. It's just the main reason. Like, I just finished neuroscience, but now I don't have a job because the job applications I applied to just no funding, and I just got fired.
Well, what were you doing before you were fired?
So like a college student, but like it's technically not a fire, but just got let go after they said like, oh yeah, we can't hire you anymore, so we gotta let you go. And I'm like, but you didn't even hire me.
And what this is a you got a neuroscience degree?
Yep. And I was looking into like maybe I want to do research, but now like honestly, yeah, and also like a lot of like things happened around me. Like neuroscience research is wild. All the research I've been into is like the only normal thing I got into is children research. Every other thing is wild.
What tell me about the wild things.
So like when people ask me of like, okay, so what are you studying right now? I'm like, it's kind of like awkward to like explain to them that like it's basically lobotomizing like rats.
We all know that. No. Look. Listen, May. You can be all coy on this phone call, but we know you guys are fucking up some rats. We get it.
Like,
We have all collectively as a society decided that we can fuck up an infinite amount of rats in pursuit of the furtherance of our own species.
Yeah, but
and I think we're all okay with that.
The degree, like the degree of like fucking up rats. I just thought like, oh, probably just animal testing degree, right? Yeah, but I didn't sign up to like shoot up cocaine into rats.
It's funny because I feel bad for you, May, because we're all like, I'm sure that there are so many aspects of my daily life that are the way they are because of lots of people killing lots of rats. But I'm lucky because I don't have to. I'm not the one who has to kill the rats, and you're the one who has to kill the rats.
Yeah. So like one good, like I think like one good thing like that probably like I was like, yeah, I didn't like, it was my calling to end up here is like, sure, I don't like animals, like I find animals cute, it's just like I don't, every single time when someone's like, oh, a dog, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it's a dog, but like I still kind of feel bad, so it's kind of like a lot of people are like, yeah, we like, even my mom like and my brother, they're like, yeah, if you didn't get a degree in something weird, like we expected you to go into the military or some kind of like, or like she literally just like told me like, if you don't end up a serial killer, like I'm just happy for you, preferably a doctor.
Okay, so you've been lobotomizing rats for 4 years.
So like I just dipped because like the lab, they just do weird things, but they're snobby about it. So like I ended up in like children research, but what I still do is kind of weird because I just put electrodes on kids' heads, like, and I call parents saying like, hey, can we have your child, please? And like at first, like I was questioning like why they chose me until they got into recruitment process, and I'm like, oh yeah, like for the first 4 minutes, I need to like explain to them why I'm calling for their children. Like I just go down an email list and like phone list, and I just call every parent, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they're not going to like find like a young girl or like young college student suspicious. Compared.
So why? Not why. What if you could like do anything with this degree? What would you do?
Well, like recently I figured out like I really like machines and working with animals. Like not like I like animals, but it's kind of like I don't like talking to people, honestly. Like kids I can deal because like, well, they're not as complicated as adults, but like a lot of things happened in my life that I just went like, yeah, no, humanity sucks. Like the reason, oh yeah, I remember the reason why I called you is because what is happening to the guys around me are like at least like men in the society, because like I'm not going to sound like misandrous, but come on, like my guy friend of like 8 years, like when I was like talking about like, hey, I don't have a job, like but I still don't really want to go into the military yet. And I was like, well, like as a half joke, I said like, I mean, like Instagram is like either like pushing me towards a sugar baby or like the military, which are like the same thing. And like after we just talked for like 2 hours, and we like I just had a beer, and I was like, well, I'm not going to get drunk, so like, oh, screw that. So I talked to him, and like at the end of the conversation, the 2-hour conversation, he wasn't acting weird. He suddenly goes into his room and said like, wait here, and he pulls out a wad of cash and said like, here. And I'm like, I was in denial, but turns out I was solicited, and I was like, yeah, no, fuck that.
He pulled out a wad of cash to like.
Yeah, before that, like I was on the phone call with him, and I was like, hey, you're doing okay? Like, you had a rough patch with your girlfriend, and like he had a toxic relationship, and I was like, yeah, no, that's fucking toxic. Like, you really want to go down this road? And I was like, I didn't say leave her, but it's kind of like it was even obvious to me that I was like, yeah, that's not good. And I don't know what an infinite wisdom just decided to like. He said like, yeah, I just found like cash in my room, and I was like, he was talking about getting something nice, and I'm like, no. So I ended up cutting contact.
Whoa! How you said you knew this guy for like 8 years?
Yeah, since like I don't know, like high school. Like I actually come from like I went to school in Japan and like since both of my parents were military, we moved around. So like when I first got here, he was one of the first few friends I made. So it kind of stinks. So but like strangely enough, I don't feel sad. Like it's kind of like, well, it's just probably the people I knew throughout my life, because like, yeah, like I've been robbed by like close people. Almost got like a murder attempt on my life while getting my degree. And like I did work at like a dental office where I'm like, a random guy walks in and said like, yeah, I just got stabbed the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Should I just pull the seat a little bit back slower? And enough crazy things happened that I'm like, well, should have saw that coming. Yeah, so like I don't want to think that like people are like, oh, you're crazy, but I'm like, okay, yeah, but you guys have problems too, so at least I'm upfront about mine.
Why? Who's telling you that you're crazy, and why are they saying you're crazy?
Well, my brother, but my brother is he like I usually joke about it, but like, yeah, sure, like we went through the same shit, because like honestly both of our parents were like did not have a good time a lot. So he looks at me and looking at me like nonchalant about it, and he was like, yeah. So he probably it's just the shenanigans I get into. So yes, like the moment I told him like so another thing is like actually like probably like the first time I was deciding like I wanted to call you was like I think last year fall. But I'm just going to bring up this now, but so I was on a research lab, and I was like, hey, this is actually kind of fun, but turns out I don't know why my supervisor hated me, so I got fired. But like I thought I made a friend. Then that friend went off to the deep end because like she was on some substances, and like tried to run a 60 in the middle of the mountains, and I was like, oh,
tried to run a what?
Like a 60 miles per hour on like a mountain, like a dirt road.
Uh-huh.
And I was just sitting there of like, yeah, see you. And she just yelled at me to get off. So like, yes, I called the counseling services and say like, hey, this girl's going off the deep end, get her. to my school because we went to the same school. So I was like, yeah, like getting my degree should have not cost my life. But hey, something happens, I guess.
How old are you, May?
23.
Okay, and you're graduating. Well, yeah, okay. It's no pun intended.
Yeah,
it's
on the
May,
bright
so you're
side-
graduating.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So, but at least on the bright side, I got a good GPA in graduating, so hooray.
Hooray for fucking sure. Are you
Yeah.
Do you have do you have like a guidance counselor at the school who's like, yo, here's how we're gonna help you get a job?
Oh no, they see me so many times. Like, they actually the guidance counselor needed to contact all the science major kids because my school is a small school, so actually a private, so they want everybody to especially get out with a job or at least with a job. So they're trying to get everybody to a program, but they're well, you guys can contact me for the next 5 years. So even they're panicking.
I'm sorry. They said if what you can't contact them for the past 5 years.
No, the next 5 years, I still can use their resources. So they're
okay.
well, contact us. And my current supervisor, who's on the research, are saying, hey, apply here, hey, apply there. And even I took a gap year, so of my friends are trying to get me into jobs, but I'm well, it's just when things get so bad, it just gets absurdly bad, and I'm well, I'm actually entertained for once.
Did you say that one more time?
When things get so bad, it just becomes entertaining at some point, I guess.
You have friends who are helping you try to get into jobs?
Yep.
Who are these friends?
Yep. Friends who graduated biology and microbiology, and actually the school friends. I went to school because and alumni, and then there's friends from high school that I still have contact with, so yay.
That's a yay.
Yeah.
All these yays are. I think all these are all legitimate yays. These are all legitimate yays.
Yeah. So it's not I think I'm not calling depressed or calling to cry about something, because I legit wanted to cry about something a few months ago, but now it passed. I'm well, yeah, why did that happen? Unprompted. Because people are I did get asked so did you do anything later down the road, recently they're so you did anything, and I'm no, I hate touching people and giving compliments. I don't know why that happened to me.
I'm sorry, you did anything?
Yeah, getting in this much trouble, people are so you're leading someone on, and I'm no, I hate people. I don't like touching people. So yeah, and when I was shadowing, the only bright side, the bright side of all this weirdness, because I have a lot of weird guy stories. But at least of all the men who hit me, I did hit way above my tax bracket. So I'm hey, I did pull assholes, but I did not pull a bum. It's I joke about people, but I'm I'm still not dating.
You said you said you hit above your tax bracket?
Yeah, it's all the people who were kind of weird towards me, or they were assholes, but legitimately, but at least, well, they made more money than me, so I'm hey, at least I pulled someone above my tax bracket, so I'm a win.
Sure. Any win.
So it's like, I mean, it's a weird way to like try to find a bright side, but like there is no bright side of that. Like it's just absurd to find like a 1. So. Yeah.
Ah, man. You know, I've been...
Like, I'm not even in the dating scene, but, like, people in the dating scene, I just get a little bit worried because if there's these weird guys that people find attractive, it's kind of like, so why you want to date?
I mean, is that something that you like? Like, I mean, the way you're talking about it, I mean, is that something that you want? Is to be dating?
Nope. Like... halfway through college, I figured out like I was completely ace. So,
okay.
Like, I dipped out. Like,
well, I mean, I will say that is one stressful part of life that I guess you don't have to participate in. Do you? I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like do you are you like? Is it like a source of internal? This is maybe kind of personal, but like, and you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. But is it like is it like a source of internal conflict for you?
No, like I still have a fun time like talking to people who I like generally find like interesting to talk to, and honestly, like I'm thinking, like, is there anything besides in life than alcohol and research? Because I guess those things actually bring joy, I guess. Still love talking to people, so, like, yeah, but it's not, like, a source of stress. Probably the only stress is, like, my mom's, like, Japanese, so, like, every single time I meet her side of the family, they're like, wow, you're so pretty, like, why don't you, like, get married? And I'm like, yeah. Can you just send me back to the lab? I don't want to talk to anyone.
May, I hope that well, first of all, listen, May, I hope it was like helpful to, I hope you I hope it was remotely helpful to be on the phone.
I mean,
I also want to say I hope listen,
I mean, like, probably like I would want an advice, but like at the same time, like I did ask for advice. And
I'm not a
I'm
well.
like,
sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I'm just interrupting you. What were you saying?
It's just like probably half advice, like half question of like, why are people so weird like this? Like, I mean, like they get weirded out that like I like the things I do for my, like, what I want to do for a job, but then they, like, get weird, and I'm like, so why are you guys weird?
Nobody has any fucking answers as to why anyone is the way they are. I mean, maybe they do, but,
yeah.
Look, I'll just say this. I hope, look, it's no fucking secret that, you know, I'm have struggled myself with like negative perceptions of the world and whatnot. And I'm no expert in fixing those things. I don't have I wish I had anything like inspiring necessarily to say, but I mean, I don't know, man. Do you talk to a therapist?
Well, I did, but now I'm graduating, so I'm going to lose that privilege.
Yeah.
Well, like, I still, like, have people who I can talk to, I guess, so it's not much of a big deal for me, or, like, it's not like, oh, I'm alone, or, like, I'm going to be sad, but it's just kind of, like, the thing that I just accepted I need to deal in life, I guess. But still, I'm, like, it's kind of like, I feel it's like kind of uncalled for, I guess.
What's uncalled for? Therapy?
Oh no, like people just, I mean, my genuine question, like after, like I didn't think I was going to graduate with the question, like, why are people so weird? Like, sure, like in neuroscience, like you learn about behavior, so And what I figured out was like, yeah, people are weird. And then I learned about like in the field, like in neuroscience or psychology, everybody's like drugged up. So
Oh, like
the
all
amount
like all
of,
the, like all the other researchers are like taking a bunch of drugs.
yeah, like that. Like one researcher, like who I was like working with, she was like right after a conference, she just like went straight to dispensary and like got some weed, and I was like, well, I don't do weed, but I'm an alcoholic, so I don't do weed, and she's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, self-medicating is definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. I always have I have to imagine it's kind of interesting, like being in the field like neuroscience, where I assume you're studying all these things about like fucking like dopamine and serotonin and norepinephrine and all these like brain chemicals, and so you have like it must be kind of like it must be a psychedelic, bizarre, contradict. Like I've always
the people like the old tenures or like the old people who are like have white hair in the field. They're like, you think they're going to be the smartest, but like they're the people who were doing it from the 90s, and I'm like, okay, you're worse than us.
But I was gonna say it must be kind of weird to like have this logical understanding of how the brain works from like a very, very empirical point of view, and then still be a fucking slave to it, you know?
Yeah.
And then still, you do all this research, you learn about all the chemicals, and you're still a fucking slave to the thing. It's insane.
No, it's wild. Like, at least, actually, I got like a work, like when I was taking psychopharmacology, which is like basically drugs. Like, it's a study about drugs. So, we always had like this homework of like where we read like a case study or a prompt about like this person going through something. Like, it could be medical, but like one of the papers were like, so this guy decided to make a compound during his chemistry class and decided to use it. Then suddenly his arms and legs won't move. What happened? And I'm like, well, he's a fucking bum. So I'm like, why did you do that, guy? So, but like, we need to explain like how the dopamine pathway works. And I was like, well, like, yeah.
May?
Everybody, like, I can just say it from, like, a start here, but, like, looking at people, even, like, people at regular fields, it's kind of like, you're a slave to something, at least make it interesting.
You're always going to be a slave to something, at least make it interesting.
Yeah.
I guess you are always going to be a slave to some. I mean, everyone's a slave to like their own mortality at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, maybe that's not true. Maybe you're not a slave to it if you don't fear it or you don't think about it.
Yeah, and like I'll be the first to admit, like I do take stressful jobs. Like the whole thing, like even during college, I took stressful jobs because I think like the moment you're about, like, you feel like you're about to fail and like you don't, is like the biggest high I will ever get. It's kind of like, yes, I'm better than this. It's like so rewarding to me that like people are like, so why do you torture yourself? And I'm like, well, it makes me feel better about myself. But well, I find joy in it, so I'm like, and I was like, hey, I'm actually finding joy in helping people. Good,
dear God, good. I'm gonna go ahead and be optimistic that you and for whatever this word fucking means, manifest. I don't know. I predict you'll be able to find some job or thing or role or whatever the fuck in the world where you can help, where you feel like you can help somebody.
Yep, I hope so too.
Who knows? Maybe you helped somebody by talking on this show, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I understand. I have similar thoughts, and at least I'm not alone in my crazy fucking thoughts."
I mean, like I pop into like watch your shows time to time, and like people like there are some episodes like people feel guilt over it, and I'm like, hey, the smartest people in the world actually have the same problems with you. At least like they're high functioning. Don't feel bad about it.
May, is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
Like I had like there's weird jobs around there, I guess. Probably like I just want to like ask everybody like, how do you become a decent human being? Because I don't know either.
How do you become a decent human being? Well, there's no objective. There is no objective measure of what is a decent human being. I mean, there's a lot of general consensuses. Humans generally reach the consensus that murdering people is bad. But there is no like. I mean, if it's all chaos, there's no real. Well, how do you become a decent human being? I mean, I guess you in your brain. I guess you as an individual come up with your own definition of what it means to be a decent human being, and then you try as hard as you can within your own primal human limitations to, do that. I guess you kind of form your own fucking thing, and the great news is that if you fuck up, you can just lower your own bar.
Oh, that's a nice thing. Yeah, I did not think about that.
Well, I don't know. Try the best you can, May.
Yeah, thank you. I hope
night.
you do good too.
Bye-bye. Man, what a crazy podcast that I'm doing here. That was May, and that was Colette, and that was... Fuck, what was the name of the Australian guy who better fucking call a lawyer? He better call a lawyer. What was his name? Maverick? Josh? Something like that. Okay, this has been the Therapy Gecko podcast. This was a fun. This was an engaging episode. I felt very engaged for all these conversations. I hope you enjoyed it as a listener. This was a good. This was a good episode. This was cool. A lot of the times I sit down to do this, and I'm sit down to like do a stream, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, and then sometimes shut the laptop off, and I'm like, wow, that was a good episode. Those were some engaging conversations. This is one of them. Thanks for being along on the journey. Crazy planet we're living on. Crazy planet. I don't have anything else to say. The Vyvanse hasn't worn off yet, so I'm gonna go. I don't know, do a push-up or something, and that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Do I have anything else to say? I don't know. I want to make more YouTube video. That YouTube video that I posted on Sunday, which you can find on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/LyleForever. I want to make more stuff like that. I want to make more stuff. I want to do more things. I want to be alive. I want to continue to want. I want to continue to feel and think and not, be okay. Just be okay. Enjoy life. Look at stuff. Eat things. We're okay. Everything's all right. Okay. End of podcast.